Hey boys and girls, it is Miss Oates, and today we're going to be going over 2D shapes and 3D shapes. So before we get started, I wanted to show you some real life shapes in my classroom. So let's see. I have these little 2D shapes that are known as shape tiles, and what you can use them for is you can use them to build new shapes. These are a fun indoor recess game that my kids like to play. So the reason why we call these 2D is because when you draw them flat on a piece of paper, you really don't get to see all the different sides and angles. You also have 3D shapes, such as this cube right here. So what's neat about this cube is I can turn this around, turn it 360, and you will see all of the faces and all the different angles. Do you see how it looks like it has like a little bit of depth in it? Back when I was a kid, we didn't have 3D movies, or when we had 3D movies, we had to wear these glasses. And when we wore these glasses, the things kind of like popped out at us. Another 3D shape that you kind of see in a classroom would be something like a globe. So a globe is in the shape of a sphere, and what we know about spheres is it has no faces whatsoever. It's just one continuous shape, and it's showing you different parts of the world. Again, this is 3D, so while you can see Australia on this side, where I'm facing, I can see the United States. And again, I can turn it, there's the United States, well now I'm facing Africa. So it pops out a little bit while 2D shapes lay flat. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of different shapes. We're going to be learning about how many sides, how many angles these shapes have, and then at the end of the lesson, I'm going to show you a fun website where you can build different shapes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first shapes that we're going to be talking about are 2D shapes or flat shapes. Flat shapes have corners and they have sides. So if you look at these shapes on this picture right here, you will notice that they are all lying flat against the paper. There is no like depth to them at all. I can't see like the sides or the back like you could with this cube. They're just lying flat. Now, when we talk about corners, we're talking about where the two sides of the shape meet up. So down here we have a hexagon. Now a hexagon has 6 sides, but how many corners do you think it might have? If you said 6, you are correct. If you take a look at these circles are showing you where the corners meet up. So this side at the top meets with this side on the side, and it forms a corner. So let's count the corners together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's a total of 6 corners. Now let's take a look at the square. How many sides does a square have? 4? Then that means a square has 4 corners. Let's find out. Look, we're correct. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So corners and sides of a shape are going to match up and be the same. All right, let's talk about a side. A side is a line that makes part of a flat shape. So how many sides do you think this triangle has? 3? Let's find out. Well, we have 1, 2, 3. You are correct. And then this right here, boys and girls, is a trapezoid. How many sides does a trapezoid have? 4? You are correct. Well, 3 sides on the triangle. And then 4 sides on the trapezoid. We have 1 at the top, 2 along the side, and then 1 at the bottom. So that would be 4. Great. So let's go over some different flat shapes. So we have a circle. What makes a circle unique is there are no corners and no sides whatsoever. It is just one line linked together to form a circle. Then we have a hexagon. A hexagon has 6 corners and 6 sides. A rectangle has 4 corners and 4 sides. And what's unique about a rectangle is you have these sides right here are the same length. And then these 2 sides on the left and the right are also the same length, and they're perpendicular with each other. Then we have a rhombus or a diamond shape. A rhombus has 4 corners and 4 sides. And again, on a rhombus, all of the sides are the same length. It's like a tilted square. which is exactly our next shape. A square has 4 corners and 4 sides. Now, the difference between a rectangle and a square is that in a square, all 4 sides must be the same length. Then we have a triangle. A triangle has 3 corners and 3 sides. And then finally, a trapezoid, which looks like the top of a hexagon. A trapezoid has 4 corners and 4 sides. So now that we've talked about our flat shapes, let's talk about our solid shapes. Now, our solid shapes are 3D shapes. They have faces and they have edges. Now, the reason why we call them solid shapes is because it looks like they're all there. If you take a look at this thousands cubes right here, it is a solid shape because I can see all the way around it. When I turn, everything looks the same. Same with this globe. This globe is also a solid shape because I can turn it and I can see all the way around it. It's not laying flat at all. Now, when you're looking at a picture of solid shapes, you will notice, like if you look at this cube right here, it's light over here, but it's a little bit darker. That's because the person who drew this made sure to shadow in so that it gives the picture a little bit of depth. So you know that there's more to this shape than just the 3 squares that you see up there. So a face is a flat surface of a solid shape. So for example, the face of this cube is actually a square. So if I were to pull my cube apart, they would be different. It would be a square all the way around. Now, an edge is a line where the 2 faces meet in a solid shape. So for example, this is called a rectangular prism, and the rectangular prism is made up of rectangles up at the top, and then there's a square on the side. So where the square and the rectangle meet up, that is going to be called the edge. So if I were to put my hand on the top, then I would put my hand to the side where my 2 fingers are touching. Do you see right there? That would be the edge. All right, so let's take a look at some of our solid shapes that we have. We have a cone. So a cone is similar to an ice cream cone. Then we have a cube, and a cube has 6 square faces. We have a rectangular prism. A rectangular prism has 6 rectangular faces. And then a sphere. A sphere is a solid shape like a ball or a globe.